Hi, this is iAllegedly. Welcome back. I'm Dan. I've got a good one for you today because it is very apparent that it's starting to soak in right now, that people are worried. People are getting it, that there is an issue with the economy. And we have a lot to cover today. So please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to join our email list because one is scheduled to go out in a couple days. There's a link below in the video description and you can sign up. You don't want to miss that because it's going to be awesome. Now, let's get right into it. So much has happened in this past week with the economy. And, tariffs on, tariffs off, yes, no, maybe so. I mean, it is just something that has to be dealt with. And we need manufacturing brought back here in the States. But the one thing that blows me away that we all have to realize there's no new factories yet. It's the promise of a factory. I promise, sweetheart, I'm going to buy you a house. It's going to be the biggest house in the world. It's going to have a pool and it's going to have, a 5-car garage. It's going to be crazyville. Okay. Well, it hasn't happened yet. You know what I mean? So there's a lot to it right now. It just tells you how the economy is. And I want to thank Aaron Smiles, broker Aaron, I call him, and Dr. Marvin. Both sent me great stories that tie into this. And the first one from Aaron has got a couple things, okay? And that is there is 2 office buildings that sold together in the Denver area. Oh, that's nice, Dan. About 70% vacant. One was built in the late 70s, one was built in the early 80s. They're older office buildings, but they're nice office buildings. They sold for $10 million. Now, the only problem was the value of them and what they originally sold for was over $100 million. So he went for a 90% discount. Again, I've said this over and over again. If you want to get yourself a tremendous deal on something, buy an office building right now because they are free. $10 million. Now, you have to maintain and run the office building, but that should tell you how bad commercial real estate is right now, that people do not want to rent office space. Since the pandemic, they don't want to do this. So this ties into what Dr. Marvin sent me. What Dr. Marvin sent me was a fabulous story about how people feel more worried today than they did during the pandemic. When everything was closed, people feel worse today than they did before. And guys, I'm telling you, 5 years ago when we were locked inside my house with my kids and we were going through all that stuff, we still talk about that and we're trying to remember everything we did during that time. But it was worrisome. It was are we going to have a business again someday? Am I going to be able to earn a living? And there are people that are more concerned right now about that. And their biggest concern is that they're going to lose their jobs right now. People are so concerned about this. And I have told you this, and I've had people write me, what's the strategy when your boss does this? If you're flagged by HR, you're done. They're just going to nitpick you to death. I've had so many HR professionals write me and say, oh, once they're on a P by P, personal improvement plan, it's time to go find a new job plan, is what that is, because they are looking, guys wearing a shirt with, what are those? What are those things? You know what I mean? That's what's messed up. Oh, the guy's got a jellyfish on his shirt. What's wrong with that guy? Somebody bought me this one. That's why I'm wearing it for you guys. It gets crazy. They're going to nitpick you to death. So, again, U.S. corporate bankruptcies right now are at their highest level after the first quarter than they've ever been since 2010. 2010. What was going on during that time? Yeah, it was the economic crash. You've had more large companies go bankrupt this year than you've ever had before. 188 of them in one quarter. Now, you can sit there and say, oh, that's not a big deal. It's a huge deal, guys. Think about this. The thousands, tens of thousands of people that lost their jobs during this time, that is catastrophic, and it is absolutely off. Goldman Sachs did something that was hilarious this week. We're going to have a recession. It's going to start, and we believe we're in it right now. 48 minutes later, guys, 48 minutes later, they rescinded it after Trump got rid of the tariffs. 48 minutes later. So the world's shortest recession, again, people hate the word recession on this channel and other channels, but it's kind of funny when you talk about that, because with all the bankruptcies, with all the downturn, what are we in if it's not a recession right now? If you run your life and know that there is an economic downturn and you are living through that economic downturn, you can survive this. Your business can survive this. If you are starting a new business, you can survive this. There are a tremendous amount of ways to make money in this world that were not available 5 years ago, that were not available 10 years ago. And people sit there and, oh, I'm too old, Dan. No, you think it's running. You think it's, you've got to go run, 10 miles to go earn money. No, you can do things from the privacy of your home. You've got AI that can help benefit this. There's so many different things that you can do. So with that, the tariff situation is a real problem, and it's not going to go away. It's not going to be quick. China wants to have a trade war, and they're going to get it. So I want to show you guys something, and that was the store Five Below. There's a great store that's on the corner of Huntington Beach and Fountain Valley. Five Below. Five Below used to be a tremendous store, and what I mean by that is they had great deals. 5, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, for $5, you could go in this store and get things that made the dollar store look like crap. And Daiso, with its $1.50 items, there was nothing compared to Five Below. It was great. Now the problem with Five Below now is they have a bunch of $25 and $30 items inside the store, but take a look at this. They've had nothing but problems with the tariffs. And let me show you the store. Now I'm in Five Below. Five Below has just stopped shipments from China. So, this store is in Huntington Beach, California, Fountain Valley, California, that right in the corner. And it's loaded with merchandise. It really is. And this place, the only problem with stores like this now is that not everything's $5 anymore. You've got a lot of items that go to $5.55 and $10 and $25. And, you can get suitcases and things like that for $25. The travel section's amazing at this place, just because it's so darn cheap. But this is going to be dramatically affected because of the tariff stuff, But again, better merchandise, yeah, I guess. But the blenders are $15 now. I used to buy workout gear and clothes here and stuff for $5, but not anymore. It used to come here was great for all the summer stuff, the pool noodles and everything. All that stuff was really cheap. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens with places like this, if they're going to be able to maintain the inventory. Who knows? So let me know what you think. Now, does that store interest you? Five Below, again, got some cool stuff in there. They're loaded with merchandise right now, but how's it going to be a month from now? They're going to sell everything. And the cool thing about that place, you go in there and you buy your summer stuff. You got grandkids, you got a pool, you want to go buy cool gifts, you go there and buy it now. Now, here, Aaron sent me another story, which is great. Prada, the high-end purse company, bought Versace, high-end clothing line. Only problem was they bought it for $1.4 billion, and it just sold last for almost $2.2 billion. So they took an $800 million haircut on this deal. That is crazy, guys. You're talking about stuff, we hear numbers and we don't sit there and think about how bad they are. I talked in the last email about how, our banking system from the Office of the Comptroller, Office of the Currency and Comptroller, got hacked. Well, they didn't have security on their email. What's your password, John? Well, you know me, it's John321. You know what I mean? It was idiocy with these people. And then they got hacked, and then they got shaken down, and they have all this personal information from people. But now they admitted what the problem was. It wasn't, some big bad hackers. It was stupidity on these people's part. So, I don't think certain things in retail are going to make it, There is a brand new Harry Potter store right now, and it's in Chicago. So if you can dodge the bullets and the homeless people, you can go to the Harry Potter store. Is that interesting? Who's sitting there going, "Oh my gosh, let's travel to Chicago. Oh my God, we can go see wizards and we can go shop and spend money downtown. Sounds fantastic." Pass, pass. I don't think things like this. I think things like this are going to last for an hour, and I think that's going to be it. You know, you're starting to see businesses charge for the tariffs. They're starting to put tariff charges on purchases at furniture companies. And I've had so many people write me through the years, you know, employee costs 4% at restaurants. I had a man, I will never forget this. I was eating with my daughter at the Grove, and a guy pulls me aside and says, "You're Dan, I want to show you something." He goes, "This is about to be added to your check. It's 4%. And everybody doesn't tip us. They get pissed off at us and say it's our fault because they say it's employee insurance, but we don't get this money and they don't pay for insurance." Well, it was covering their workers' comp, which they're supposed to pay. It's the price of doing business. And this guy was like, "What do we do about this?" And I talked about that. Gosh, that was 2 years ago. But this kind of shenanigans, you're going to see this used for the tariffs. You're going to go to a baseball stadium and they're going to have a tariff charge at a baseball stadium. You're going to buy a concert ticket and there's going to be a tariff charge. It's going to be added everywhere. It shouldn't be added. Plus, if the merchandise is sitting there on the floor, there's no tariffs charged for that. That's a lie. Don't buy that nonsense. Um, you know, Social Security has got issues where you can, if you complain about something, they were going to have something set up to where you had to go into the Social Security office to verify instead of doing it over the phone if there was an issue. They finally dropped that. So if anybody's heard that was an AARP story, just ignore it. Okay? Here's the one thing that's absolutely wild. Car sales, grim prediction from Goldman Sachs. Now, Goldman Sachs has been right with a lot of things. They were right with gold. Gold is at an all-time high right now, guys. Did you get any? Did you? Who's the guy beating your brains out over gold month after month? Please, guys, look at that. Look at silver. Look at all that stuff. Goldman Sachs has just talked about how the car industry is going to suffer dramatically. Now, the lie is, oh my gosh, we have tariffs on these vehicles right here. They're sitting there. You don't have a tariff on this. There are tremendous deals on used cars right now. The used car market, the lie is that you're being told that, oh my God, the prices are going through the roof again. Collectible cars, it's spiking. Rolex is spiking. No, they're not. If you gaslight and if you tell people this is how it is, oh my God, you can't get a used car right now. Guys, I'm telling you, I'm selling used cars right now, to get rid of them. And the people, they are free. Prices are not normal. They're down here. Okay? Well-maintained vehicles that you can't get anything for. Think about this. Okay? I'm going to make sure I get this number right because I wrote it down. Right now, it is anticipated that we're going to sell 850,000 less cars, new cars, in the United States in 2025. Okay? That's horrible, guys. But let me break it down to you this way. New car sales in the United States, that works out to 2,328 cars a day that are not being sold right now. You don't think there's a problem when you can't sell 2,328 cars in a day? It's bad. Well, Dan, it's gonna turn around. It's gonna get better, And again, great story out of the Hedge, and it was talking about, is the consumer tapped out? Yes, the consumer's tapped out, but that's okay. That's okay. There are deals on certain things that are coming about. You're gonna have to see that hotels are gonna have to lower their prices for summer. You're going to have to see airlines saying, wait a second, we have empty seats here. We've got to lower our prices. That's going to happen. Is it going to happen today? No. But you got to be savvy with this stuff. And it's very, very exciting right now because if you have a cash position in anything, if you can wait, you're going to get the deal right now. You just have to be patient right now. Now, if you don't buy certain things, will they go up in price like gold? Yeah, they will. But I'm one of the firm believers that you haven't seen anything when it comes to gold right now. Gold is going to be in its heyday. And, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000, 3,250, now 3,500's next, then 4,000. You're going to start to hear people use the five number and say gold's going to go to 5,000. But $33 an ounce silver is a tremendous steal for you right now. If you just sat there and you knew what silver was used for, it would floor you because there is not enough silver mined to meet that demand. And then you still have the shenanigans of green cars and green energy and solar energy and everything like that that requires all of that. And once it requires all that, it's going to make it so that you're going to have to get this stuff. It's needed to produce this stuff. It's that simple. Let me know what you think so far. And again, you know, everybody has to sit down and do their own planning. It's great. Every now and then I sit there and think, God, did I do a good job as a parent? And my son called me today to do a tax appointment and sit down I want to make sure I have all my deductions. I want to run by them with you, and went through the list. And again, who does that? You guys, kids in his 20s, we all need to sit down and plan and plot and be ready. And again, you can do this all on your own. If you are by yourself, people think, oh, woe is me, I'm by myself. No, 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 no. Got an edge. You don't have to worry about anybody else. It's very, very good to be alone right now. It's the greatest position to be in right now. Trust me. Go out and plan. Go out and learn. Knowledge is king right now. There are so many things with AI for your health, for your finances, for learning that we haven't seen. This is going to make the dot-com era look like nothing. You're going to see tens of billions of dollars made during this time, and you're going to see people that have just laid everything out, planned, and they're going to get ahead. You're going to see successful companies ran by an individual. Mark my words. I want to remind everybody that Bob Kudla, the one and only stock trading guru from Trade Genius, is having his webinar class on April 17th at 1:30 Pacific time. You can sign up at bobstradingclass.com. It's absolutely fantastic. And I just love watching him. I love that he does this stuff for you guys. Also, don't forget that we have a private channel called iAllegedly Live, where it's all the uncensored stuff that I can't talk about on certain platforms. But man, do we cover it. Now, there's 3 videos on that yesterday. So check it out, guys. Money lessons, 8 great money lessons from the Great Recession. And I found that story for you guys. That's below. Also, I want to remind you, if you've been hit by a wildfire or a natural disaster, the odds that you're going to be able to delay your tax filing, like LA County doesn't have to file until October. Check that out. Talk to your tax professional. Get tax advice. Don't listen to some guy on the internet. See if you're eligible for that. Colorado was going to trade utility for wildfire liability for insurance funding, and that got shut down. So that's a good thing. What else? One thing is that, inflation, we got this low number that inflation went down. Do you feel like prices have gone down? I think everything's gone up. I have sat there and bought food lately, and I am just floored at what things cost. And I'm telling you, I want you to look at something because it really did work for me. I use this with my kids and my friends that are single, and it saved them a bunch of money. And that is, don't buy for the week. Don't go to the grocery store and buy a bunch of stuff for 2 weeks, because with our busy lifestyles, things change. And all of a sudden, the salad box that you bought with that lettuce, it'll be, a science experiment in a few days. And you don't want to do that. So buy for the day you're going to cook. Oh my God, who's got time for that, Dan? It just takes more time. My brother, who said, oh my God, we waste no food doing this now. I said, yeah, that's what the Brits and everybody from the UK sent me this. And it's great. It really does work. So the CPI numbers are not that good. They're great. Inflation's going down. Yeah, gas and certain, autos and certain things, but nobody can afford them right now. So it's terrible. The other thing is consumer sentiment in April tumbled. Why? Because of inflation. People feel bad. Ask people. I'm paying too much for this. It's too expensive. I cannot afford it. So let me know what you think. Look at the stories below. And there's a lot to cover. Got a really, really busy week. I'm glad to be home. Sunny. It's beautiful out. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. And don't forget, join the email list, guys. Lots of cool stuff coming out on that. And I'm just excited about everything that's going to happen. I'll see you soon.